Let's start. Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Let's start.
Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat directed on Prime FM 105.5. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5 and streaming live on our YouTube and our Facebook page. That's the Nighttime Heat, YouTube and Facebook page. You can follow the show if you want to. Just tap Nighttime Heat either on your Facebook or your YouTube channel. You're going to follow the show live and enjoy the show. Well, we want you to also share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. Kindly share the show. So that you yourself, you can enjoy the show, because rest assured it promises to be very Moses Sandy. Sandy has some new assignments at his place of work, and so you make sure you only come when you make some adjustment, and which he's trying to work on. But share the show tonight. It promises to be very interesting. The Liberian government has announced that the border dispute between Liberia and Guinea has been peacefully resolved. We're going to go beyond what the government has said. Our correspondent is already poised within a year from us what actually the dispute has been resolved. Because if the dispute is resolved, it means that cross-border trade will resume. It means that the Guinean soldiers will withdraw from our side of our country. So we're going to look at all of that tonight on the program. Our correspondent, like I said, is poised to hear that tonight also on the program. Liberia today signed 30 million United States dollars agreement for the pavement of the Salaye Konya Road. Well, hat off to the government. We said on this program, if there's anything positive that we all can run with, we're going to run with it. But if anything negative as well, yes, we're going to talk about that so that the government can make some corrections and some adjustment as well. Well, also on the program tonight, we are hearing about some internal wrangling at the National Elections Commission, where some of the employees are not happy with some of the administrative decisions taken by the new head of the National Elections Commission, the man Junitson. We understand that there's this outrage, there's this disagreement, there's this discontent being expressed by the employees, especially those who've been affected as a result of the administrative decision. We're going to talk about that as well on the program. And we'll be expecting Representative Swope Morba. That's why he comes. We're going to speak with him for some minutes and on a couple of issues. He wrote a communication. There's this issue about the integrity that has been raised. The issue, some committees of the House of Representatives want understand, in terms of some financial uh, misconduct, and so he wrote the plenary. We want to talk to him concerning that. But let me first welcome the lone panelists we have for now. Desmond, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you so much. To our thousands of followers, our viewers, listeners. I always describe them as our precious listeners because without them, there will be no journalists. It is because of them we are here. So I would like to say it's great to be back. And yesterday I wasn't here, yes, for some other personal reason, but I'm back to be. I mean, I'm happy to be back and look forward to having a very fruitful, engaging show this evening.
All right. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time. And listeners, viewers, kindly share the show so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the nighttime heat. I want to follow the show tonight. Just tap nighttime heat, and of course, you're going to follow the show online, either on your Facebook or your YouTube channel. Just tap on nighttime heat, and you're going to follow the show online. Designed to ensure that we bring you major discussions, discourse on trending national issues. That's the reason why we sought to design this program. So, kindly share the show. Let me welcome our other panelists, George Kennedy, quickly. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabah. Good evening. Good evening to my co-panelists. I don't know if Mr. Sandy will be on, but Mr. Wia is here. I hope the other panelists will be here. And good evening to our many listeners. I want to say thank you for always listening to us. Kindly share the show and give the others the opportunity to follow us.
Okay.
To our technician, thank you very much for always being good to us. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, George, for coming. Is there anything threatening on your mind? Anything that you want to talk about quickly for just a minute?
Yeah, it's still about road. It's still about Central Monrovia roads. Those alleys were open during Madam Saleh's administration. The past government, unfortunately, they didn't look at it, and those alleys will help to ease the congestion in the city, in the central city. So this is an appeal to the Ministry of Public Works to look to that direction. The government, like the legislature, everyone, like the president, to look to that direction. I think if they tie those alleys that were opened by Madam Bureau Bro while serving as city mayor, I think Monrovia will get a kind of free movement, entry instead of just one way from across. And so I think it will be better for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Will, do you have anything trending quickly?
Yeah, so basically,
Outside of our
yeah. So basically, what has been trending on my mind is the fact that one of our politicians, our immediate past, former vice president, described as subsequent, or better still, an abrupt, increment of candidates' registration fees. And I think for me, as a citizen, and besides as a journalist who supports the right of everyone to participate in election, that is squarely anti-democratic, and it has been actually disturbing my mind. Why would somebody who benefited from the available democratic space that has resulted into the prescribed registration fees for candidates during what time, and now subsequently wants to change that. So I think that is hypocritical in nature, and it should be resisted to the core. So obviously it's been trending on my mind.
Okay. Thank you. I really appreciate your concern. Listeners, viewers, can share the show. Today, the government of Liberia announced that the border crisis between Liberia and Guinea has resolved peacefully in their regular MACAT briefing. Let's listen to the minister, and then we can do a further discussion about this latest development. Okay, it seems that we start to have some problems regarding the audio. But gentlemen, let me try to pull the story out. Let me try to pull the story out quickly. I think I was able to. We thought our we thought the reporter had cut the video, but the same is finding it difficult. So okay, let me read what I have quickly. Information Minister Jeremy Kamafipia has announced that the recent border situation between Liberia and Guinea has been peacefully resolved, allowing residents on both sides to resume their normal daily activities. Speaking on the matter, Minister Pia stated that calm has returned to the affected area, with citizens of both countries remaining within their respective territories. According to the minister, Guinean citizens continue to occupy Guinean territory, while Liberian citizens remain on Liberian land, following efforts to ease tensions and maintain peace along the border. The government has welcomed the peaceful outcome and reaffirmed its commitment to preserving friendly relations with neighboring Guinea while ensuring the protection of Liberia's territorial integrity. Okay, so that's the story there from the Minister of Information who spoke today regarding what he called the peaceful resolution of the border disputes between Liberia and Guinea. I'm trying to see where we can connect with our correspondent who has to go beyond what the minister has said to get a first-hand, okay, I think our correspondent is on the line now. Emmanuel Soa from Lofa Akari. Soa, welcome to the program quickly.
Thank you, sir.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Okay. Well, today we heard from the government of Liberia through the Minister of Information announcing that the border dispute kind of walk away from the noise. Kind of walk away a bit from the noise.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, fine. The minister today announcing that the border dispute between Guinea and Liberia has been resolved. We want you to just give us an idea.
So those who are closer will try to get in touch with them. So later on, they gave me a call that they went at the border, but the situation remains the same. The securities, our securities are still at the custom, while the Guineans are still at the point where
It's still the same. Are the Guineans still occupying the land of portion that belongs to Liberia?
yeah, of course. That's why it told us because, like I said, where we are right now, it's time for us to get there. The time the information reach us, we don't have the transportation to reach at the point. For him being there at the primary chief of that area, he gave us the information. Yes, indeed, the people are still there.
Now, do we know whether cross-border trade or cross-border activities has also been resumed or not?
Well, the cross-border trade is yet to be resumed. Marketers are not going to Guinea right now from the Solomon crossing point to have their sales because of the mandate that have been given to them that the borders are closed and they should remain as it is until further notice. So they are not.
Do we know as to whether those who are around the border points who fled earlier, whether they've returned?
They have returned. They are all there at the point where we call mark custom. Even when the disaster management team came, they were all at their various houses when they distributed those materials, food items and non-food items to them. They were all at their houses at the border point. So they are all there. They are doing their normal activities.
So all you know is that, and being told by the paramount chief is that the Guineans are still occupying the portion of land that belongs to Liberia.
Yes, of course.
So, let's hear from you. The issue announced today by the Minister of Information, how did the people...
These are statements, these are policy makers. So anything they say, people go with it. Maybe what other citizens were saying, like maybe they are at the point where they are concluding the diplomatic talks for the Guineans to return home. Maybe people are saying maybe it was taken from that backdrop. But for the Guinean army that they are born, no, they are still there. For giving the kind of information to the public, maybe they are reaching at the point where the diplomatic talks are coming to an end, that the Guineans have agreed to withdraw their troop or their manpower from the Liberian soil. But as we speak, the Guineans are still there.
All right, many thanks, Mr. Suarez. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mohammed.
Okay, gentlemen, you listen to our reporter, correspondent from the border in Lofa County, indicating a single of us listen. Let's hear from you, Mr. Wayne, your article.
Well, I think for what I listen, while it's true, I also followed the minister's appearance yesterday at ERBC on the Super Money Show, where he first declared and announced that the Ebola situation has been restored peacefully, and today, he also emphasized that. But there are key things that I want us to look at. In conflict resolution, there are key indicators that point to the fact that the conflict is being resolved or restored, and that everything is being, taken to the state of normality. So in this case, I just want you to bear with me for a few seconds as I point to some of the key indicators. With the precise case of the Ebola situation, there was a particular subject that instigated the conflict. And what is that? Or land dispute, or parcel of land. And that parcel of land, in the views of Guinea, they own it, and therefore they went there, they hosted that flare. Day after they brought it down, up to now there are reports from the correspondent that the people are still on the territory of Liberia, which speaks to the fact that they still claim ownership. So if the minister has said that the Ebola situation has resolved, in general communications, the use of verbs, adjectives, even nouns, they are used carefully because you're going to state a particular and a definite position on a particular matter. So in the description of the president of the minister that the Ebola situation has resolved, not is being resolved, has resolved meaning the action has completely carried out. Therefore, nothing about tension anymore at the border. The issue about cross-border trade is being resumed. And another shocking revelation about the entire situation is the paramount chief. And if you understand local government, the paramount chief serves as the president of the chiefdom. He is the direct representative of the president of that chiefdom. Therefore, chief, but as a government person. So if the paramount chief who communicated with the correspondent to have said, and look, yes, the minister has spoken, but the situation still remains the same. That is a complete contradiction. That is a complete contradiction at the epitome of government communication. There is no way possible that the people who are the direct, victims of the conflict, if that conflict is being resolved, that they will not realize or feel the impact. If a conflict is being resolved in Lofa, the people of Lofa will know. You do not necessarily need the Minister of Information who sits in Monrovia or through probably only goes to Lofa if there is an occasion and the president is going, come to tell us that the situation in Lofa is resolved. Why did you communicate for government? Yes. But the people themselves would have done a living testimony to either confirm the report or deny the report. Exactly. Listen to the paramount chief. Well, that has been it is being quoted by the correspondent that the paramount chief said the situation still remains the same. It's troubling, Sobo. It's troubling. Okay. This also project a picture of what we call governmental mongering. Governmental mongering in the sight of ordinary Liberians, especially those innocent mafias who for no reason should be running head-to-scatter. You understand? Only because of a particular situation that the government has been using for the past 4 months. This situation has existed and the government approach towards it. Every time we listen, they say they are using diplomatic means. Okay, only right now the minister has come out and said, all of those diplomatic means, now that the border situation has been finally resolved. Like how?
Okay, let me go. George, we also read the piece from the Minister of Information and then also established contact with our correspondent. Let's get your take on it.
Throughout my life, I started with myself in leadership. I've been student union president, student council president, I've been community leader, particularly at no conflict resolution. I want to applaud the Ministry of Information and the government of Nigeria today. What they announced today is a resolution of the political aspect of what is going on. It means that Liberia and Guinea politically have come to understand, to agree that this conflict is over. When the Guinean troop will begin to pull out is an other discussion. You get it? We all were yesterday saw the conflict, the way ceasefire took place. Agreements were signed. It took a long time. I didn't want to say yeah. It took a long time. All the way. And so there's something in. Yeah. Then you have the right to ask questions. All right? Political settlements took place before the military settlements ended the conflict. Accra Peace Accord, for example, was signed when armed men were still in their places. The people came back before this armed men before the armed people to withdraw. Let me tell you what our reporter said. I read it for the report. 2 things. Number 1, he said all those that fled before, they returned long ago and they are living there peacefully. So it means that the tension that once existed between the Guinean troop and the ordinary people and even the Liberian troop has eased and the people there living peacefully now. Number 2, he didn't say in that report at any time that he spoke with the paramount chief. He said he didn't get the paramount chief, but he got the paramount chief, someone from the paramount chief office. And the person said the people stayed there. The situation still remains the same. The truth is, if there was real conflict now in terms of the way we're looking from the beginning, those people would never have returned back to go to their farms and stay in the same town where the Guinean troops are. That's very good achievement.
Now, so let me ask you now.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You said the resolution is the political dimension of it, right?
That's why I'm understanding you.
Now, when you talk about a matter between 2 countries, Guinea and Liberia, we heard exactly and saw how the tension was growing. In fact, as a result of this crisis, a lawmaker was expelled. That tells you the height of the crisis at the time, or the been resolved. What, how do you expect the ordinary citizens to understand this?
So I just told you from my initial opening, I said this thing has both the political and the military side.
But who knows about political military?
Okay, so when Guinea said, look, that land is for me, it's political. When Guinea deployed troops there, it became military. That's why we in the media we should know how to communicate these things. Because if you don't communicate well, we'll be held liable for increasing the tension at the border. So what has happened right now, what I'm understanding from that particular statement by the information minister is the political aspect.
But who understands that? Now you understand.
Yeah, but
who understands that?
to add go to go misinterpret it as a misinterpreter when I'm communicating.
Do you expect Mawata? Do you expect Mary deep into maybe?
You ask me how, honestly.
No,
you ask me
how you. But the vast majority of the people.
Yeah.
Do you expect them to understand that? I was talking about the political aspect.
So me, the way I understood it, taking cue from my own experience as a leader and as someone who stayed here throughout the war and follow what happened, how those conflicts were resolved. There was no way that anybody did the political resolution to play the same day.
But you can compare.
Yeah.
You can compare the crisis you making reference to this one.
No, you
No, come here.
You missing it big time. Yeah.
The two countries were not at war.
So,
And not 1 minute. The two countries were not at war.
we are doing on this.
Guinea and Nigeria were not at war.
They were awarded, they began awarded, then military.
They didn't fire arms.
The firearm, the Liberian was shot.
Comrade, they didn't fire guns.
They fired guns.
There was no exchanges.
Look,
No, I'm coming out.
That's what he meant. There was no exchanges
There was no exchanges.
of arms, you know.
So you
rounds
can
of
compare that with the war that we fought in the 1990s. No. So you can't say that people understand the way Pierre said it. That he was making reference to the political act. No.
you asked me.
Okay, let me hold it.
No, please. You asked me. Your last opinion there is not going to suffice over my position because my position, the audience, the listening audience, the one that the judge. You asked me, what do you say about it? I said, this is how I understand it.
How do you expect?
How do you expect? No, that's the last question you just asked. How do I expect? This medium is one that we just spoke with a correspondent. And I listed certain things. I'm not here to come be emotional about this thing. I decided to be very, very, in fact, when I heard from that press conference, I was very happy. The fact that the Guinean president, from the initial stage, even he signed communique with Liberia in the presence of the ECOWAS chairman, still nothing happened. And it's still over time after the met in East Africa and all the two presidents sat by one another. Today, the Liberian government is announcing that the conflict between the crisis between Liberia and Guinea has been resolved. That's what I heard.
Okay.
I'm simply looking at it two ways. One, the political aspect, you know, the Guinean army acting on political. Yeah, so when your Puna you said,
The first thing is that it is just unfair that the policy situation in the description of Mr. Kennedy, that in his opinion, that is probably the political exposure. At no point in time did this government ever announce that they were engaging the conflict resolution politically. The government made it clear to the people that they were making sure to explore all diplomatic channels. There was nothing of any political way or political method of solving this conflict. Politically, Liberia is not prepared to solve any conflict because we do not have the political, capacity in terms of resolving the conflict with Guinea. So the government was strategically using diplomatic ways of having a border situation resolved. So if that is the case, if a government minister of information now will come out to say, okay, the border situation, I said, if general communication, the use of verbs, adjectives, all these things are very cardinal. The minister said the situation of the border has been finally resolved. That was his word. Has been finally resolved. When you use the word has been finally, using the past participle of the verb that the entire action has completed long time. They has completed long ago. That's why he said has been finally resolved. But if the minister have said it's being resolved, that is a present continuity, meaning that there are actions that are placed on the way, seeking to addressing the issue at the border. Therefore, there's some level of normality that is being resolved, but the entire situation has not been resolved in terms of the entirety. That is what that will be speaking to. But the manner in which the minister described the situation that it has been resolved, and now Mr. Kennedy says, that is seen that as the political way of resolving the conflict, and you're expecting our people in the area to say, the minister spoke politically in this kind of cardinal issue where it has to do with our integrity. You distracted me, Mr. Kennedy.
The way you conduct the show, it can be basically ugly. When they want to hear you, give you all the time without interruption. When someone says, the audience is the judge. Let me educate my brother here. Whenever he sees two countries, whenever they say two countries, diplomat for talking to diplomat for different countries is political. Know that one day today, whenever you get it, you show me like that. Know it today. I'm not going to teach you diplomacy or whatsoever. It's political. You understand? Gideon troop did not come to Liberia on their own. They came there with instruction from politicians. You get it? So to get it all of Liberian border, you got to resolve the political component before the military component. This is the education we can provide.
This is where you can say, I'm being biased. I agree with you. But yet you have the political.
You want to on PR for giving you publicity.
Listen, let me welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir.
But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
When a crisis occurred, like what happened between Guinea and Liberia? The Guinean soldiers came on our sword. You get what I'm saying? People fled the area because of fear. They have not withdrawn yet. They are still there. Secondly, before the coup come to the border, there were cross-border trade. Guineans were crossing. Liberians were also crossing to the Guinean side. You get what I'm saying?
Very well.
The statement released by the Minister of Information lacked two cardinal words.
That's a position
I'm
statement.
coming out. I'm asking a question.
Oh.
But I'm just trying to inform you.
Okay.
Because
In your view,
I'm informing you because you didn't hear them.
I'm listening.
No, I come.
Yeah.
You didn't take note of what I'm trying to talk about. They lack two cardinal words. You didn't hear the minister saying the Guineans have it. You didn't hear him saying cross-border trade has resumed. Not something nature.
Well, you know why?
I'm coming. Do you call that? I'm asking the question now.
Yeah.
Do you call that a peaceful resolution of the process?
Yes. Let me say this to you tonight and let our audiences, both on the internet and the airwave, get this thing clear today. The Guinean troop did not sit on their own and cross border to Liberia. They were given command through their command structure by politicians. The political leadership of Guinea. In order to get Guinean troops pulling from all of Liberia, you have to settle all dispute with a political.
No. You said it before.
Yeah, but
you said it.
No. Let me learn one because you answered it in No.
What?
This thing is what I need to be clearly explained. Right? So the only way you resolve that is resolving it with a Guinean political system. And this government is saying announced today that they have resolved the situation with Guinea, the border crisis with Guinea. All right? I am telling you,
when the soldiers are still there.
Right? When the soldier is a process. It's a process. As simple as you were here doing the process, then you say you can't say that example more than.
No, you can't say that.
So what?
1 minute.
So when all they were here, listen, I want to ask you one question. I want you to answer me. Was all they pouring through? All they pouring through over like bronze oil? If
you were in the shoes of the Minister
resolve.
Between here and
I'm a journalist, right? You want me to bring me out? I'm not going to go there.
No, it's one thing to be an apologist, which you are. It's another thing to be honest.
So when I say the political standpoint,
So someone just
honest, right?
Be honest now.
Yeah.
So you know
So I was
exactly.
honest first to explain the advice.
So you know now that exactly that press release fell short of certain words. And you know that?
Well, that's what they thought of.
Okay, let me hold you there. So okay, yes, tell me, William.
Yeah, so before Mr. Formula comes in, I know it is our hope and expectation that the border situation can be resolved peacefully so that our people can have access to the cross-border trade. You understand? So, like Mr. Kennedy said, withdrawing the troops from the Liberian territory has to do with process. He's trying to project the picture as though it will take like weeks, months before the troops will be withdrawn. So now here's the question: how possible at the time the border situation instigated, within just barely a couple of hours, the chain of command of Guinea political leadership operated, executed, and deployed military of the Guinean army on the Liberian soil within just barely hours.
Now, you ask a question, you can't take the whole story. Let me tell you this, brother. He didn't follow that, so you're not even hours. That's still up to sometimes. No, I say you're not even girl.
The thing happened.
I
that as well.
The brother will tell you that one, but no,
The thing happened. The situation happened. It happened around March.
There's no tribalism.
The Sultan let them make the show.
I would like to let you know tonight that
when the border situation
started, when it comes to security issue, it is even easier to deploy than to withdraw.
1 minute.
When it comes to military.
1 minute. Let me hold you.
Okay.
Let me hold you.
Let me
hold you there.
Hold that one there.
So how many months will it take for the
I don't know.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
Mr. Kennedy has already admitted that press statement and the information fell short of certain.
It's not true. If you ask me if I was ready, I will tell you tonight if you're ready. That is not true.
You
If you
said
ask me
already.
if it were you, how you were ready, I told you I was ready.
And you
If you ask me how you were ready, you will say how you were ready. That's
So,
not true.
how you were ready, it means that it fell short of what you were.
I listened to both sides and I listened to the minister's statement.
And you were not here. We play.
I listened to the
our correspondent. We spoke with the correspondent as well.
Okay.
The correspondent. Okay, fine. Let me just bring it up to speed. The correspondent quoted the paramount chief that
Office, yeah.
that
You were not there.
the Guineans are still at the border. Number one. Number two, he indicated that cross-border trade had not yet resolved.
Yes.
Number three, he also indicated that citizens were around the border who fled initially had returned safe.
And they are living in peace.
They are
living in peace.
No, you are not the one to.
Don't speak the place. Say the facts.
So go ahead.
I will take it from the standpoint of, first of all, the chaos that happened with this whole cross-border process, wherein people left from their villages and fled to other big towns because of fear of some instability that they thought could have happened. As it is, the political discussions are ongoing, and it has taken a lot of, people within the governance sector, including the legislature. There was a parliamentarian meeting of, I think, Mano River Union speakers or so on the same issue. The president also had discussions with his counterpart in France. I remember when the president went to Ethiopia, he was sitting, I think, next to Doumbouya. In Kenya, yes, when they went for the Foreign African Summit. And I think there was some discussion that came out of that, we're even told that Doumbouya asked our president how is the situation, So far, so good. I think that shows some semblance of resolution. It may not be 100%, as people think that it may be, but the chaos have now subsided. Yes, in the military chain of command, there are processes. The way you deploy men, that's not how you actually, demobilize them to take them back to the base. And they're also waiting for certain chain of command. There were activities that were going along that whole waterfront that actually created the coming of the Guinean into our territory. However, this whole thing about border that all people have been pushed on our soil, for me, I see it being more political than being actually geographical or being, very substantive. Because if the Guinean had come all the way into Foya, or maybe taking portion of the Lufa belt, then we can see they have encroached on our territory. Now, the presence of the Guinean at the waterfront, at the Makona waterfront, is to prevent what was happening that was creating problem for them as well. Because, mind you now, it is the river that shares the two countries. If there's any negative pollution of that river, it affects villages down the stream. So Guinean authority, yes, also have that right to take some actions. And based on that coming onto our soil to protect that particular area, the government of Liberia moved to put stop to whatever activities are ongoing. So yes, you can see what the minister said. There's some semblance of normality because the people have gone back to their towns.
That has been sense,
I'm coming here.
That has been sense. No, but don't come.
I'm coming now. So the people have gone back to their villages.
That has been sense.
People have gone back to their farms. They are not making their farms. All right. However, you talked about the cross-border trade. There are processes that could resume that cross-border trade. All right. And somebody,
please, I don't want to I want you to be frank with us.
I'm very frank with you.
Legal mind.
I'm very frank with you.
You are a legal mind. Lawyers are honest people. If a lawyer knows that his client will lose the case, he will tell the client, no, we don't need to go further. Right?
That's what we're trying to do.
Fine. The Minister of Information said the crisis has been peacefully resolved.
Of course.
Right?
Yes.
It has been peacefully resolved.
Yeah.
Contrary to what he said, our correspondent said the men are still there. When a crisis is peaceful,
So the men
one minute.
Yeah.
When a crisis has been, when you say has been, you completed the process. The process of withdrawal has been completed. The process of cross-border has been completed. But when you say, one minute. But when you say the process is being resolved, as you speak, there's political discussion underway. The fruits of that political discussion will witness the withdrawal. No, let them accommodate us. So, no matter who
you jump into my time.
No, because you are trying to lecture us.
Chief.
We need to history. We talk about English.
They may spoke a simple English here.
What was that?
When the peacekeeper when the peacekeeper came there for a certain level of
You
time,
can compare that. You can compare that. At that time, we had 4 group classes.
give me time to. I just tried to
The first thing, your foundation is front.
Chief.
You can compare the classes we had in the 1990s to this one.
I was trying to lay a foundation in the chair.
Well, foundation
All right.
So, you're trying to change that foundation.
No, Chief, no. You listen to me, please.
Or else you're going to be broken.
Chief, listen to me, please. When you deploy a troop on a soil and the crisis gets, be resolved, there's a process to withdraw them. That's it. That's the synopsis I tried to give you. When Omo came here in 2020,
Don't compare that.
So that's the problem.
One minute. We have to transition. No, 1 minute, comrade.
Moses made it because Moses cannot put in a chat room
I
himself.
saw with the legal education, you have guided us well. But you're trying to confuse us.
I'm not confusing you.
Come on, 1 minute. The process that happened.
I'm trying to know that continuity between withdrawal and resolution, but you're not even giving me the chance.
Political resolution came
Resolution and withdrawal.
1 minute. When you tell the Liberian people that the process
Has been.
between Guinea and Liberia has been resolved, you are saying to us
That we have withdrawn the
withdrawal has
No.
Your interpretation.
You can get up to the wrong money and then I'm go.
Your interpretation. But we hear.
welcome.
Thank God. Thank you. Let you appear.
All right, guys. A very interesting discussion, you know. So when I listen briefly, I said, look, let me just pause and talk to my colleagues. How you guys doing today?
Moses.
Yeah, your opinion.
That's the essence of the program.
Yeah.
I listen to all of you, and let's look at the key word here. As journalists
Thank you.
and a lawyer,
Thank you.
the key word in that statement has two words here. Has been resolved. Has been resolved.
In fact, finally was even added.
Listen, man. I'm listening to the man.
No, I tried to give him some basic has been
He didn't
finally
ask you for help.
has been finally
Listen
resolved.
to the
No,
man,
it's
my
a
man.
finally you can
Listen
add it
to the
the
man.
Is it wrong?
You can't put words in the memo.
No, it is the minister.
Nobody's telling you to know English more than anybody. But we telling you the way it's supposed to be.
Who here can let you on the
I mean,
No,
look,
that is
Then
not-
you want to take the man English when he said it.
No, but you are the best person to interpret what Mr. Pierre said.
Yes, journalist.
You no. You cannot be the best person to interpret what Mr. Pierre said.
The first thing you say, if you are written a president,
You are yes.
the political
was scared of that.
because we're a journalist.
Yeah.
So you are putting it the right way.
Yeah, so
he didn't put it the right way.
so that what you say,
So, yeah,
you want me to say that the PR didn't put it the right way. You get it wrong.
You are meeting.
Not listen to the man. Not listen to Moses. Mostly what I'm interested in.
Not listen to what it does.
Yeah, sorry, Moses. Go ahead.
The key word in the minister statement is resolved. What does that mean? It means it is over. Perfection. We don't have any problem again. That's the message that the minister conveyed. And I agree with Sobo, I agree with Mr. William, how the minister said that the crisis in Lopa is being resolved.
That is the
That's what we're talking about here.
that is the best.
You're talking, very tall.
said there is some up, or I mean, there is some meeting that is coming. So what is the essence of that meeting? When the minister said the problem has been resolved, a regional meeting, which my brother family spoke about.
Speak up.
What is the essence of that meeting?
They have been meeting over.
The minister told the people that hey, when the Guinean soldiers will retreat, then he announced that as part of the resolution, and he has said, hey, the problem has been resolved. They have been agreed that within this period of time, Guinean soldiers will retreat. That would have made a lot of sense. But we don't make a vague statement. Oh, guys, let me pause there, man. You guys are there. Thank you, my job.
Thank you, Moses.
I just wanted to make this thing for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Ghana, we'll have to transition.
No.
One minute.
Please,
One minute. I said we'll have to transition. First, we'll take out of 2 minutes to do our final position on this, and then we can transition. Let's hear from you.
So I think Moses is going to get me right. I said that there has been several meetings of leaders of this country, Guinea, Sierra Leone, and the Mana River region that have discussions on this issue. Now, when the minister spoke and said that the matter has been resolved, it is not the way you think he's supposed to speak. He spoke based on the
issue a report that there have been temporary suspension on ABK Mining Company on the Makona River up to now. There has been no update, no findings about the investigation that they claimed they were conducting, for which that company was being closed. You see, we got to be honest in communication, especially if they know who is the head for the entire government communication structure. If he speaks, he doesn't speak as a person or as just an information minister, but he speaks in a manner and form that the ordinary Liberians will be able to understand his message. Because why? He is not in Lufa to better interpret why he will be speaking. He is not in Greenville to better interpret that. So the message should be self-explanatory to the way that our people can be able to understand it, digest it, and consume it as a position statement from the government that will give hope.
Okay. Mr. George?
I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed that some of us probably will away from mainstream. If I were older, I would have asked the minister, what do you know have been resolved? But so you want to know journalists who are there to ask that question today. It's a failure on the part of the media community, that we say we're sitting here bolstering our communication. People, when public officials speaking, most of the time they don't officially disclose that thing until you push them to give you the facts. What Mr. Sami here talking that a friend, he called him to find out what do you mean by that? Hey, journalist, he's from Aja in the US. You come and teach your man. You can teach Mr. Pia English. So let me really say this.
Let us not. No.
Listen,
One minute.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
know
important.
you got 2 minutes. You got 1 minute. But let us not personalize this thing yet. Let it not go out that somebody is against it.
Yeah.
We are talking about English knowledge here.
Listen, but
We are talking about structure.
someone spoke English.
We are talking about
You
structure.
critiquing the person English.
ahead.
That's why we say, can you speak English better than this person?
Go ahead.
Can you teach them? So I say I never had problem with the statement. I understood the statement. I interpreted the statement to you. You say no. Because you are not exposed in a particular statement that he read, it means that I don't know what he said, but you cannot interpret it the way you think you understood it. That's disingenuous. Say you say he didn't mean this, you shouldn't also interpret what he said. You shouldn't say that he's wrong for saying this or that.
Okay.
Just take it face value, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let me give my pattern on this before we can transition. What we learn in journalism is that when you are writing or you are speaking, you have to be as clear as you can, so that the people who are listening to you will not even have cause to doubt what you are saying. You can be clear.
Please, Atiri.
One minute,
Atiri.
No.
1 million, one Atiri is for journalists. Public official.
No.
Clear on this. Say that you are journalist. You are ready or something. Be clear. That's my prerogative.
I'm doing my
Not the public officials.
parking.
They didn't go to journalists. Yeah, but they don't. So let's be frank.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody, you are not wrong. It is improper speaking. It is improper
He said, well, no, as a journalist, please. Can you listen here?
But journalists, you are not. If a journalist, you speak for yourself.
And in addition,
Then he learned journalism.
let me learn, man. You're not going to understand me. I'll give you time. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, but don't misquote the
We have to do
professional.
it.
Don't misquote the professional interpretation
When you
of
are
what it
speaking
means.
as a journalist,
Fine, as a journalist. Fine. Thank you.
be clear.
Yeah.
As a communicator, not really a journalist. You have to be clear. Don't put it that way. You got to be clear. What came out of the Ministry of Information was a total destruction. It didn't point to the facts. And it was not properly communicated. If Mr. Pierre had said that the crisis between Liberia and Guinea is being resolved, we've reached a political point where the matter it's about to be resolved. I mean, it's reaching a point of being resolved, and at some time we'll have withdrawal of the two cross-border. Then we have been clear. But what he said, it points to the fact for anybody to come up to say he was not clear at all. It was a destruction of the fact. We listened to our correspondent here. He said the policy on the border. If you claim that a crisis has been resolved, a crisis between 2 countries has been resolved, like the issue between Liberia and Guinea, then we should see the withdrawal of the troops, of the Guineans. We should see the withdrawal. The second thing, we should see cross-border activities being resolved.
Not necessarily.
Okay, I hold you there. What's with your partner coming on this?
Yeah, look,
John Higgins, I went.
Apologies.
For the clear reason.
All right, guys.
Right,
I was constrained to call, to just make a clarification.
You come back.
And I want my brother George to understand I did not come to teach Minister Pierre English.
Thank you for the clarification.
Nobody on this show here is trying to teach Minister Pierre English. So for you to take me out of context, oh, you can speak English more than Pierre, that is not an issue. The completely off target.
Tangent, we take it from the dictionary.
We are analyzing a statement that emanated from the minister. The man used the word resolved. It means it is over. George, that's the literal definition of the word resolved. The problem is over.
So we got it. I mean, yes.
We have no problem. And we are saying that we don't, based on the report we're getting from the county, we don't see what the minister is making reference to. The Indian Solo King, they encroach on your territory. The people are still there. And you tell them Liberians that the problem has been resolved. Liberians cannot commute back and forth. Guineans cannot commute back and forth. You did not tell us when this problem was resolved. If you had told us that hey, we met on this date, we have agreed on the following, that would make a lot of sense.
But I don't want to
I know, so George, I know you support the administration, and I don't hold that against you. I don't put people at loggerhead. Yes, my friend.
No, that one I go up because you responded
Thank
to me. I respond. Okay, give me the.
No. Let's come for that.
So,
give his starting
I'm
comment.
also aware. No. Listen, he was very clear when he said, look, when he said, I know you support the government. I also know that Mr. Sandy is an anti to this government. And so everything for the government
The segment that I extend a sincere appreciation to Badia for this for us in Liberia development trajectory and will have a transformative impact on communities across Bonk and Mr. Gafuas. Let's leave it at that. Now, let's see your takeaway, Edwin.
So it is a welcoming news that again Liberia is back on the stage of doing business with uh, credible international institution. Badia is one. I know during the term of President Salif, Badia was here, much as with the World Bank, the African Development Bank, and other financial institutions at the IMF as well. But at a certain point in time, Badia withdrawn, and I think it is now, a laudable thing that the government of Liberia, through the Minister of Finance, has been able to bring them back, because these are developmental partners that have access to a lot of liquidity. They have a lot of funds. We're talking about the Arab Development Bank here, So it's a welcoming news for them to be able to fund such a very, very important economic corridor. As the president always said, road connectivity. When he went to Cape Mount, he said, yes, we may not be able to put the bread and butter on the table now, but the road will be able to give you the bread and butter. And people did not understand what he was saying. He was basically saying, with the road, you'll be able to reduce your transportation. If you are paying 20,000 Liberian dollars to come from Konya to Salaye, now you're paying $5,000. You have extra $15,000 to buy the bread. So again, roads, and I think the president idea is now getting into fruition. The only challenges that we've had with some of these agreements and so is the weather that our weather system during the huge downpour of rain, sometimes these activities slow down. We are in a tropical country where we have almost 6 to 7 month rain. So basically the government only have 3 to 4 months to be able to run with these projects. So sometimes these projects delay and it's lay over and so forth. But I think the Minister of Finance and the government are doing well when it comes to these international organizations, building the credibility of the government to trust us again to be able to borrow us these loans and whatever grant that is being given to us.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, so obviously it is a great news, and I think we got to be very positive, like we always do on this show. When there are sources of the government, we speak to it, and Mr. Formuda said that there's some level of trust, and so for the obvious reason, this government, in terms of our international image being restored, is unequivocal. We serve as a non-permanent member of the Security Council. So these are positive news, and it's not just necessary to be given the attention it deserves as government officials or as government supporters. No, but we as independent journalists, where there are positives, we speak to it. So yes, that's great. And one of the things that I will look for is that not only when these projects, when these agreements are made, like I always said several times before, that sometimes governments they have competing priorities and they use the money for the purpose for which it was not signed for. That is not good. Sometimes the partner who is the giver, who is the donating agency, they fire these types. Again, it benefits us as a country, because once you send money for road, if you don't use it on road, you use it on electricity, we as citizens we want to benefit, we want to enjoy that, right? But again, in the views of the partner, in terms of transparency, that is where it is lacking. You understand? So I would like to say we give the Minister of Finance, we gave him a hats up, and we we look forward that he may keep doing more for our country.
Okay, Mr. George.
Well, I will start like this because our airwaves were filled with information now. All the major roads in the country, all the financing for them have been signed. I don't know whether this Medcommon road is not a major road in the country. I don't know whether this Monrovia to Play and to Old Waterside is not a major road because these funds, these are new contracts that have been signed because we were told that all major roads, the contracts for all major roads in this country have been signed by the past government and all financing were already secure. That's what we've been hearing. And now that this type of information coming out, they say, look, this government just signed additional $30 million for it. So I now know that every other information from that source is not credible. All right. So we've been seeing this, following this. So those sources, anytime anybody wants to place their sources on the station, we debunk it because they're no more credible. Having said that, I want to salute Minister Kafwan, who is a flipper over there. That's why you on screen. So I want to salute Minister Kafwan. He started working with these people when I used to cover the Ministry of Finance during Madam Salif time. And he is current president and then he was the vice president. They went to that scene, Arab Bank and other things. So he sourced the first money. The Kuwait Bank, Kuwait Fund, sourced the first money for that road. Before I sent a road article from them. And today he came by as Minister of Finance and decided to follow up because the people know him. Go after them and then listen to them. Thank you, Mr. President, for sending Minister Kafwan back to where he's stronger, much stronger. I feel that he's much stronger as finance minister than foreign minister. So he's actually proving himself there. I want to say thank you. Yeah, that's it.
Well, I think the development, the development that came up today regarding the second minimum agreement, I think it's worth noting. It's a major development news that we need to run with. Yes, when this funding is secured, I'm sure our road will be better than what it is today. We're just hoping that, like my colleague indicated, and I know this government has a very good credit record. I know if the funds is given, it's not going to be used for any other purpose, not mentioned, rather purpose that the international partners decided to support. But gentlemen, let's think about law.
A period of time. So what you have to pay every now and then is basically the interest. As we go along.
Pay that every year?
Yes, I know that for the World Bank is something that actually is later that you have to pay, but it's not that huge amount or so. But you have a very long period of time to be able to pay. So that's why sometimes you hear people saying that the current government is indebting the future of the younger generation, because you're taking these loans to develop, but then over time, maybe it is my children's generation that loan will be paid off also, or my grandchildren, generation. But it's good because no country in the world, even the greatest country in the world, the United States, today they owe China in trillions of dollars, they owe other countries. It's difficult for a country to say, I will use my power in terms of revenue generation to develop my country. Yes, you can do it, but it's challenging because you have, like you said, conflicting priorities here and there that you have to source from. And your revenue trend is not that big. So for you to be able to carry on these major development, you have to borrow. There's no way out, And as it is now, Liberia, I think our loan portfolio is around what, 2 billion, 1.2, 1. Around 2 billion. And then we're really afraid. When you go on the internet now, you look at Ghana, you look at Ethiopia, you look at Kenya. Some of them running to 100 billion. But again, gradually, it's because of our credit rating. So we'll definitely get there once we continue on the right trajectory based on what the international partners are looking for. We'll get there when we can borrow more for developmental projects.
Okay, you're listening to the Nighttime Heat of Regional Prom FM, 105.5. Kindly share the show. So that's your friends, your relatives, your loved ones. Your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the program. So let's transition. They have
I think you're going around.
Yeah, just be second.
Yeah, man. What do you want to talk about it?
So the loan is a very good thing. It's a standardized process in every government all around the world, But it becomes more disastrous in the context when it is, or if it is not utilized for its internal purpose, or even for whatever right purpose it could be. There are times government take loans, they take loans for roads. Maybe you use your own, energy is good. Yes, we agree. It benefits the country. But what if the government takes loan and then instead of that loan being used, especially during certain periods of our elections, we understand that there have been several reports of the IMF, the World Bank, about some other African countries in Africa. The management, our responsible conduct in terms of when do we apply for this loan, and some people intentionally, some government intentionally go for this loan during election, approaching election years, take these loans, use it to fund their campaigns, and even if they get defeated, I'm coming. If they get defeated or if they get,
It is a Liberia.
I'm not saying Liberia.
There's some countries.
We're discussing Liberia here.
No, but
it's not.
Why you want to say it's not a digress? It's so government. I would
You cannot dismiss. You cannot dismiss my.
You got can you name one
You
country?
cannot dismiss my analysis, right?
Can you
I'm
name one
saying
foreign
it
country?
has a very general question.
you have time to speak, man. Mr. Kennedy. So they can say that someone your time, Mr. Kennedy.
He has a very general question that was not. He has a very general question that was not directly not specific about Liberia. As he said, I mean, no, how can we add? Is that a good thing for country? He did say it is a good thing for Liberia. That was not a question for someone if you listen to him. So I'm speaking generally. Some of the way and manner in which other African countries take loans, especially some during election year. Is it good for a country to take loan? Yes. But is it good for a country to take loan to use for election purposes? No. That is where you are not just endangering the future of the next generation, but you are also placing the country into unnecessary debts. So I want to stop this far.
Okay.
So let me just, because for some of us who are working these international organizations, working with them, the way in which the whole loan processes are now done is different from the way it was done 20, 30 years ago. That's why the Badia stock is specified. Konya Salaye Road Project. The developmental partners are not going to take 30 million to come and put in like Red Bank. No, that's not how it works. You have to do your procurement process. An international company is selected based on performance. As you build 10-kilometer road, they release the money to you. It's a whole process. That's not just the finance minister who goes on it. Even right now, we're benefiting from a loan project from the electricity sector.
Yeah.
Listen, before a dollar is paid, the World Bank has to verify the work that has been done. So it is not like where people go and say, "Oh, we're taking leave, we'll come and put it in the bank, and government go and use it." That's not how it works. It's a different.
Like, I want to meet them, I want to honor school there because it's good sometimes when you discuss it, just but you understand the subject matter. When you understand it, of course. Look, frankly, most of the, you talk about interest rate, most of the interest rate only is around 0.075%. It's not much. Very, very low. That's the first thing. The second thing is you get longer period. It's for not school that longer period of time to pay. Yeah. So even if you play the rule, you put 2 there, you pay very fast. When you made a 2, I want to make it 100, you have to give $50, even $20 somewhere, you get the money very fast. The other issue, the other thing is, like Maria, the only time I heard say somebody, if I went to bank and took money during election 2023, and they didn't go borrow from us, I took it from the central bank.
For the reserve.
From the reserve, the country reserve. Donors don't give you money as a government during election time to say they come and give you money. They don't do that.
If I control that money.
They are going to control that money because they want to work with fresh government. If I want you win the election, they can give it to you. So let's start doing all kind of speculations that we can cite an example on the show, let's say other countries, whereby indirectly we know that we're speaking about our country.
Okay.
$83 million all of the central bank during 2023 election in October, November. That's not the same case like foreign money.
All right, so gentlemen, let's try to transition. Again, you listen to the night time meet to Writing on the FM, 105.5. I don't think we need to be throwing jobs every time. And let's
Yeah, welcome back. No, but I want job is for all to sit there for this show. Information for you.
Yeah, gentlemen, please.
Should be correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the National Elections Commission. We understand that there's a crisis there, internal crisis. Let's read what the media is reporting. The National Elections Commission, NEC, is reportedly facing growing internal discord following a series of alleged administrative reassignments, entirely demotions for old staff members, ordered by Chairperson Jonathan K. Widow and co-chairperson Councillor P. Tipla Reeves, with staff alleging the moves may constitute a purge of employees perceived to have supported the Commission's previous leadership. Mr. Widow, nominated by President Joseph Boakai, this one is not necessary. He assumed the post following the, we still have to go. Those affected by the reassignment include Initial Sowisa, reportedly moved from Deputy Executive Director for Programs to Deputy Director for Monitoring and Evaluation. Councillor T. Jara shifted from Senior Legal Counsel to Deputy Hearing Officer. Pauline Carrett transferred from Director of Human Resources to Deputy Director of Records. Beatrice Ginokwe reassigned from Special Assistant to the Chairperson to Deputy Director of Communications. And Elijah moved from Administrative Assistant to the Chairman to Logistics Officer. Sources alleged the personnel changes were approved through internal administrative communications endorsed by the NEC chairman and supported by the chairperson and 2 other commissioners without the input of the remaining 3 commissioners. Some employees have expressed concern that the actions may be inconsistent with provisions of the new elections law, the NEC Human Resource Manual, existing labor regulations, and principles of Liberia's decent work framework, though the Commission has not publicly addressed these allegations. That's the situation reportedly taking place at the National Elections Commission. With some of the staffers, in fact, like I read, who were reassigned now think that they are reassigned because of their loyalty or commitment to the previous leadership of the commission. Let's hear you, Mr. Wood.
Yeah, so when you were reading, I captured key words and phrases as well. There's something in the statement you mentioned about demotion of all employees. First and foremost, is there a normal practice that employees can be demoted or will be demoted based on the length of time they have stayed in an institution? And that whole thing about reassignment, I see as just misplacement. So because you look at some of the positions you are referencing, you're looking at somebody from logistics carrying to communication. Are you kidding me? Somebody from human resources carrying to records. What is the misplacement all about? Okay. Probably if that can be justified administratively, then of course the new chairperson will have at least last for over a year or two to examine the performance of these employees. If there could be a reason in his opinion that is justifiable to say, oh, because of underperformance in this area, which he as a election magistrate or commissioner has observed, and therefore this person should be replaced, that could make a whole lot of sense. But just after 1 more, the fact that 2 weeks after your confirmation, you go to an institution, you start to just change people from position, different places. Look at somebody who has been in HR for over 5 years or 10 years, taking her from there and carrying her to logistics. What does she understand when it comes to the issue about buying materials for people or for the institution? She does not understand that. You take somebody from human resources, you carry it to record, or you carry it to communication. What does she or he understand when it comes to communicating government plans and policy about the institution? So that is a complete misplacement, and the management of the new net boss should take this matter very seriously, and he should be able to cite or call all of his lieutenants and deputies to a single administrative meeting to find a way they can resolve this issue if they have been the same panel who approved it from the initial stage.
Okay.
So let me first of all say a big thank you to Commissioner Wida. There is something in this country. There is something in this country where people feel entitled to. I've worked all my life in public sector. So I've started LEC in administration, and I went as far as working in technical areas where even I'm not even an engineer. So look, what problem we're creating in this country is something called redundancy. You keep one person in a job over time, the person is not growing, they're just sitting there. And I learned something from one of my mentors called Christopher Neo in the 80s when he was running LEC. In fact, people there even admitted. Christopher Neo, after every 6 months, he would take his managers. He would take the engineer, say into finance, say go there. If the man in finance know how to do his calculation, you can learn it in 1 week. Sometimes when you do that, you see the lapses in the workplace. And let's be realistic here. Taking you from a position, what the law says is that they should not take the salary from you.
Yeah.
So even if they take you from here and put you here, that's management decision. To say maybe this guy will be able to perform more than the guy who's sitting here. The guy has been sitting here too long. When you sit somewhere too long, you become comfortable. You want to put people in a place where they can get challenged and do something. So this is not bad. It's for them to be able to prove themselves. Except when people telling me that they were involved in something that they're afraid that they are being out of that place, to be able to uncover it, then they have to jitter. Okay. But as administrative function,
Thank you. I went somewhere before I came in. I'm sorry about that. I was UN, very big position.
of course.
And the next management came to me and sent me to an archive. Yeah. And you understand, we just see particularly what can happen sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a student came to me and sent me to
They
training.
take you somewhere.
Okay? The these things, they are very normal. And where all we went, learn lots from there. Build our own capacity from there. What doesn't happen in that labor law they put in there? The decent way. When they read that decent way, what to do? They will draw that statement. That decent way, that one we eat every day. And that's why sometimes when they come out again, so the only thing you can do to those people, their salaries. That salary. You can take the man as director, you send him somewhere as deputy director, that salary that he was there is making, you can take it from him. Of course. What would be affected is the benefits sometimes. Yes. And you understand? The fringe benefits sometimes it can be adjusted based on the new position. But the law says you can't touch that person's salary. You can take the mayor as director of the janitor.
Now,
So in this case, that's something different that they say because the lawyer to the former chairperson. When you work with an institution,
You don't lawyer to individual.
your lawyer takes to that institution. That's statement that the issue.
It's an indictment for themselves.
This is public sector education.
I think they were quoting.
The media. Let me say.
That's what they believe.
Yeah.
That one they
Your belief will indict you.
What is exactly?
Your belief will indict you. Now your belief carry you. So that your belief can carry you. If you put your belief into writing, you are expressing and quoting law. You are expressing legally. The best thing this book can do is, look, the former chair is gone. Pay your loyalty to the institution and serve the forces well. That's the best advice I can give them. But in terms of the law,
and just to add on that, right? Now, the people who are reassigning you, they are not people who are stupid. If you go there and you have capacity gap, you can raise those issues with administration and they'll be able to figure from there to see how best they can give you training so that you correspond with your new assignment. But there's nothing on the law that says they can't move you around. You suppose, look, in fact, if we even doing if you are even policy this thing in the workplace, you see a lot of changes when you are recruiting people. You know that there are some people being sitting to this ministry agency, they've been in a job for 10, 15 years.
in the same place.
In the same place. They have not left from there.
And so
There's no new innovation. There's no new,
does that
so, of course, it does.
They affect productivity and efficiency.
One minute.
Yeah.
We talk about productivity and efficiency. But we're trying to change people's position. Right?
Yeah.
Let me read some of the names that were affected. Reportedly. Those affected by the reassignment include Ignatius Wilson, reportedly moved from where? Deputy Executive Director for Programs to Deputy Director for Monitoring and Evaluation.
He's still deputy director.
Coming. Councillor T. Jala shifted from senior legal counsel to deputy hearing officer.
He's at the same level.
Pauline Corey transferred from Director of Human Resources to Deputy Director of Records.
demotion.
Is that the same?
No, wait, listen. It's not the same. That is demotion.
That is
Right, but guess what?
demotion.
Wait, guess what?
Let me continue.
Continue,
but
go ahead.
that is demotion. Yeah.
To Deputy Director of Records. Okay. Beatrice Joppe reassigned from Special Assistant to the Chairperson to Deputy Director
Promotion. That promotion.
of Communication.
That promotion.
And Emmanuel Earl moved from Administrative Assistant to the Chairman to Logistics Officer.
That promotion. That promotion. Yeah.
So, is that training up on the boss?
That's a big
Yeah. Go.
Sources allege that the personnel changes were approved through internal administrative communications endorsed by the NEC chairman and supported by the co-chairperson and two other commissions without the input of the remaining three commissions.
Okay, so I want to.
Some employees have expressed concern that the actions may be inconsistent. Okay, I read that.
Okay, so let me just come in because my little
Now,
mother works for the
now,
commission. Yeah.
you spoke about the issue of uh, the issue of the changes are affecting you know the the jobs, you know, or the what they're supposed to do.
Mhm.
Now, I wanted to have it, you know, just let's clear this. How long has this new next year? How long has it stayed at the commission before affecting these changes?
So
The reason why I ask
Mhm. And I'll give you the answer.
the employees or those affected are now saying that they were affected as a result of this action because of their loyalty apparently
Okay.
to the previous. He has not stayed in the job. He just came in the job.
So when you read the communication there, right? Go back to the communication. The decisions was made by the internal process, endorsed by the co-chair who's been there for more than 3-4 years, right? And let me say this, and I said my mother worked at the commission before. You know that she was like 3. The only time I know that all the commissioners will have to meet and make a decision is on election matters. Administrative matters is handled by the chairperson and the co-chairperson and HR. You can ask anybody anywhere. There is nowhere in any law that says before an employee is moved, all of them should meet and have a meeting to decide whether they will move formula from point A to point B. You know what? Our people need to start thinking that they're entitled to positions. No, you are not. The only thing the law entitles you to is your salary. And they cannot dismiss you without a cause. If they dismiss you without a cause, then you can go for redress. In that way, they will ask the institution to pay you everything that they cannot employ you. But the institution has the right to move you from one point to another.
And also to remove some people also.
Well, it depends on your performance. The management sees that you're sitting here as a director and you are not
Director of Human Resources.
I'm coming out.
Drop down to director of
I'm coming out. You can be director of human resource and you actually have a lot of your job.
She's definitely done it.
And then they move you now because look, they don't want to fire you because management also reserve the right to terminate you. I think it's a wake-up call for you to examine yourself. The reason why I was brought here is because maybe I'm not meeting my timeline, I'm not doing X, Y, Z or so. Good for you, they're not taking your salary away from you. You carry your salary along with you. It might affect your benefit or so. Again, if you improve yourself, you could get promoted even over that.
Ask you how long
they have the right to do everything, anything that they shouldn't affect your salary. Yes, the man will go with his salary, but instead of going with the competence he bring on the job as a human director based on his specialty in university, he's going to go to a different department. So I know it is, in fact, it is logical that those who were no, come here. We should not politicize the people situation that they may be no, they don't hate for the people, but I think we should not create an impression as to whether their concerns are not valued or logical. So we cannot. So that's why I think it is. I said in my opinion that even if the decision have been influenced by his personal examination of these staffers, then it means that he might have stayed into the institution for probably a year or two, coming with this kind of major reshuffle in the system. Many people could say, yeah, the man stayed there for 2 years and I believe he have had personal examination encounter with this staff based on monthly meetings and quarterly meetings, and he think there's a need to do what he's doing. But the man just barely go to the place that about 2 weeks ago, you're confirmed. He start taking people from one job, misplacing them into different categories. Take somebody as a special assistant, get into logistics. What do you understand about buying equipment? You take somebody from special assistant, you get them as deputy director for communication. What does she understand about government communication? So are you killing me? Is that an NEC we're going to be seeing? Is that an NEC that's going to conduct our election in 2029? It's concerning. And I think the stand the management they put put all hands on deck and resolve the issue.
All right, let's hear you.
When you're discussing public sector issue, sometimes you have practical idea. If you don't have, you'll be sounding odd at times in those who understand. The theory people can teach in the classroom is different from practical aspect. Most of the government entities, when you go inside the employment form, is there enough time management can assign you anyway. Most of the government entities have it on their employment form. Anytime management can assign you anywhere, and, within the entity. Look at it, you sound. So I'll specifically answer your question. How long? This chairman is not new to NEC. He's been in our system for many years. Decades. He knows our system. That's why, listen, if my man can be speaking on issue, then I will say, I mean, it can really make you don't know ugly, but I opinion with that. You don't know this man how long
you can speak disparagingly.
Okay, I will try. But sometimes certain things can be said so that it can just sound odd. This man has stayed decades with NEC. This man recently, when the new NEC boss or the former NEC boss resigned, he was sent there as acting. He sat there as acting chair running the administrative aspect waiting if we get confirmed.
And you still say he did
when he was waiting for proper he was acting chair. He was not outside. So you want to tell me, say, in your own elementary way, let me speak simple English. This man went over there, he never saw all the performance records of those people. They say, let me see who are you, what are they performing well. So I'm saying that the policy in most of these public institutions, if you go when you sign in the employment form, it is there. Management can assign you anywhere within the system.
I just try to educate the man.
And you will
I
sign.
started LEC as general services manager. I served as assistant director of planning. I was transferred as assistant director of planning. I was moved to senior manager for work notification. As it is today, I'm director for customer advocacy. That is the public sector. That's how they rotate you. So I agree.
So it was my turn. It shouldn't be debate my time that I got on the radio.
Because when you put me involved,
It shouldn't be debate when it is my time.
Please go to it. Let me open the last brief.
Don't rush me, but they interrupt me.
well, you are supported by your good friend, Mr. Family.
Because we're speaking from practical speaking. I'm saying here, I'm a media person through all my professional life. The first professional institution, work I did in my life, I'm a media person. The first first job I got in the system, any system I did was that media. I stayed in that system. I went to school. I qualified myself. I went to qualify and got another profession in finance. I never get any job in finance. Everywhere I go is in the one administrative area.
So this is where.
So it doesn't mean that being displaced. No, you got several competing professionals for that one position. So if it's smart, you diversify. If you diversify, the system will always be there to accept you, to help you. Sitting down and say, oh, I went to school to be HR, the HR person, so you cannot go to procurement. You're killing yourself in the system.
Okay.
You'll be a dead room.
Yeah, fine.
So
let me start announcing the number.
Okay.
And then you can continue with your position. 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. We've been talking first. We spoke about the government's decision that the crisis between Liberia and Guinea has been resolved. We spoke about that. We also spoke about the government signing an agreement of US 30 million loan for the Salaye Corridor Road, and also we spoke about that. And then now talking about the crisis. What appears to be a crisis at the National Elections Commission for employees being redeployed. They believe that action is basically intended to just get at some of them. Let me take this first caller quickly. What he's trying to call. Yes, sir. Can you lower the volume? Lower the volume of the radio.
Yes, somebody getting me?
I'm getting it.
Okay, I'm James Kwekwe. I'm called from Bronx.
Let's hear from you.
Let me just speak on the issue of the neck processing.
Okay.
Someone who should be qualified to fit anywhere and to adapt to any professional sector. So, for me, I don't see it as a problem at NEC. Nobody is tied to a position at NEC. So, as such, once you are transferred to a different unit, with the competence that you have, go there and be able to adjust yourself to the situation. And I want to congratulate the Liberian government for amicably solving the issue at the bolo there. And that's how we talk about diplomacy. And I want to say thank to the government. You understand? So next, we are going to elections. Nobody should politicize situations at next. Once you are competent, be able to transition to another unit and perform. Okay. Thank you so much.
Many thanks. 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live on the nighttime heat tonight. First, we spoke about the government's announcement that the crisis between Guinea and Liberia has been resolved. Although we spoke to our correspondent who said that the Guineans are still at the border, and the issue of cross-border activities has not yet been resolved. But the government is saying that the crisis has been finally resolved. We spoke about that earlier. And then also the issue of the National Elections Commission. Some employees there who understand they reportedly been redeployed into other areas, but they are claiming alleging that the action to redeploy is because of their closeness or loyalty to the previous leadership at the National Elections Commission. We also spoke about that tonight, and the Liberian government has signed $30 million US loan agreement for the pavement of the Salaye Corridor Road. Major development. We also spoke about that tonight. So it's your turn to interact with us on 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the number to call, and you are live.
Yes, so I mean, it is not because it worked in the case of Mr. Famule, so therefore it should work in the case.
Please let me hold you. I know you come back. Let me hold you. Take this caller. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Summer.
Yes,
is on the shoe for all of the topics. But so the training issue of one of the comments there from the beginning of the show when he talks about where the former past president suggested that the price of the registration fee for Kennedy's election should be increased. So if people think those are backing saying that they are feeling sorry for poor people in this country, let them do it like this. If you say the fee they permit, if you say the fee should remain the same, then we should agree. If the president will be very fine with 2005, let us agree if this will be a salary when he becomes president. If the president will be very fine with $500, then we know that you want the poor people to be part of the election. Because this man will not go after an election when you will be paid $500. That's not suggestion. If the president will be very fine with $500 US, $500 you should be paid when you win the election. You
Okay.
okay win. Thank you very much.
Many thanks. Let me take a look on that quickly. This caller is called. Hello.
Yeah, the most powerful someone just going into you.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Let me say going into a co-parties. One is Mohammed and Kanye on the memo of the Lebanese letter view.
Okay. Good.
Come on. Let me appreciate you had ever you have comparative share. Okay? Let me get on with you. Like let me address food issue before the dinner. What you have to do with the intention of let's say the leg or the employee of leg. Okay, let me be very thankful to the new elected chairman that there. I think for man on the page, I think he's doing well. Look, let me tell you, if you not qualified for a position, my brother, you not say you couldn't be, you wouldn't be what when they say, oh, you have to, even for that to even tell you, that. For me, I have the any point that you have to say people to come and even hold it to or hold it to. Okay? Now, the other issue happens, I even listen to Senator Johnson this afternoon, even on okay, then when you're even talking about increasement in the registration fee or most of the credit. For me, most of these cars that are even trying to support the thing, that look like a two-star. Okay? Now, people talking about women participating with that 30%. And then, even if they even complaining on the higher equipment on the registration fee. So, when the president says, he's talking about around $5,000. I don't know or the deputy, the senator, I don't know how much $1,000 they got. I think $10,000 for the presidency. The senators, it's around I think $5,000 you have to be that day, something like that. So for me, the fee for the presidency, it can be one star around there. Senator, $2,000, you have to buy. Yeah.
Okay.
You're going to have four there. You're going to have $5,000. My brother, you must take even want to the $5,000 to buy right store. Okay? When put that we, the people that are in the country here.
Okay.
The one that they work with, when people winning represent the position in the country, they can still apply. It's not only district. You don't want it.
Okay. You made a point. I think you spoke very relatively. You were in speech. 0776 50987. Yes, your speech.
So it is not because it worked in the case of Mr. Family at LEC. So it should happen with those at NEC. And it's not because it will happen in the case of Mr. Kennedy. So therefore it should happen in the shoes of those at NEC. That is the logical conclusion of their thesis defense. You understand? So what I'm saying, we cannot speak. Okay.
Let's hear you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Please be a bit audible.
So I'm under the weather, so.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Wish you well.
Thank you. So this is William Conley has done this conversation.
Only weather. Stay 776-540-987. Okay, we'll take one more call and we'll wrap it up because time has gone over us. Yes. Let me take this call up, this one, and then we can wrap it up with our parting comment. Let's hear you. Hello? Yes, sir.
But let me tell you, the English word, the country has been, it's going to talk about the English. The conflict has been resolved. So it's resolved that means it's completely finished. It's finished completely. Think about English. English is one of the major things. Oh, the food has been eaten. That means the food is gone. So when you talk about the conflict has been resolved, it means the conflict is completely finished. All of you are discussing it, and some of you do not give chance to others to talk. Always, other people are listening from all over the world. That this is what the information minister said. The conflict between Liberia and Guinea has been resolved. That means there's no way, no talking again. Then the Kenyans should not be in the border. They should be out completely. But instead, I think they are there. It means that, yes, it has not been resolved. Something wrong. Something must be done.
Okay.
Again, the election commission, what they did is all right. It's 100% because you will take and balance everybody idea. Don't just want to this way. Somebody can even become a manager and they go back to be a janitor. With the janitor education, you will do better. So it's good for changes to come in that area. So what manager did, whoever he did, the chairman, whoever he did, is good. Thank you. It's a good idea.
Okay.
May God bless you all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, man.
Yeah, so just to also conclude, so basically, we need to understand this from a different perspective. I know that these things happen. It happens in a lot of institutions. But is it the right thing? How does it benefit the overall performance of this institution? We cannot be discussing about institutional productivity and efficiency without discussing about the competences of professional staffs. You can't. And you cannot also talk about you want to get the best out of the professional staff, while you are misplacing them. So they will underperform. They will absolutely underperform. So we got to understand that if a person is a professional for logistics, if he is employed for logistics, he should do his logistical jobs. So I'll stop there to say it's been a great show, and I look forward to tomorrow.
So most time when you see us going back and forth is because we have practical experience or experiences in what we say. You see, when you work in the public sector, there's something called KPIs that is set by the institution, key performance indicators that you have to meet. And if you are not meeting those key performance indicators, it means that the institutions can shift you from where you are to another place. And then they can also bring another manager in that place whom they believe may meet the KPI that the institution is actually looking for. Nobody, not because you are hired as let's say a human resource manager, it means that you are going to be the only human resource manager in that place until that kingdom come or until you reach a state to retire. Management reserve the right to transfer you. Okay. So it's just a form of education, And when we come here, we don't come here to just speak because we want to speak. We speak with experience. We speak with understanding. It was a good show, and I hope to be here again maybe on Thursday or so. Because it's a busy.
Okay. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. And we added it up by saying most, if not all, of the public institutions, when you go in to sign your employment form, it is there that they can shift you anytime. So if people want to debate it, they will be debating through all this, right? So when you sign that employment form, it's legal. you and also to say this about concerning Minister Pierre's statement. If anyone didn't understand Mr. Pierre's statement, it is a responsibility of the media to move or follow on. If you didn't do it, you want to interpret it in your way as half-baked, it means you, the media, did not do well to also do your follow-on. So me, I understood